Yan. So, tinapos ko lang. Ang score, San Miguel, 108, Magnolia, 98. Pero ang ganda, actually. Ang ganda ng mga huling minutes na nung fourth quarter. Nakakahabol pa yung Magnolia. Parang back and forth sila. Kaya, in fairness, ang saya. Tapos, si Tyler Bay, nakakatres pa. Talagang napakaganda lang nung laro ni Jericho Cruz. 30 points, 8 rebounds, 8 3-point field goals. 8-3 ang na-shoot ni Jericho. Talagang ang init ngayong gabi. Yung mga pass sa kanya, alam mong pag tinira niya, papasok eh. Ang galing talaga, ang ganda nung performance ni Jericho. Si Boatwright hindi masyadong gumawa ngayong gabi. Pero si Enciso, si si Jericho, si Abay. So sila po, so 3-2. So they can finish this sa Valentine's Day at baka pahinga ng konti, makahabol na sa Gilas si Abay saka si CJ. Ayan, so kamusta po? Ayan, tinapos ko lang yung PBA. Ang ganda ng laro, in fairness. Ang ganda nung Game 5 kanina sa Araneta. So, hindi ko pa napapanood tong interview ni Coach Tim Cone kay Noli Iyala. Medyo nabisi ko ng mga huling araw. Panoorin po natin. Sabay natin panoorin, ha? Okay. Tapos mag-react po tayo.
Pilot of the aircraft, and he's not an unfamiliar face.
Interview ni Noli Iyala kay Coach Tim Cone.
In the PBA. His second tour of duty as a permanent head coach of the
Yan.
national
Good evening,
team.
Patrick Jane.
Our good friend, Coach Tim Cone.
Yes,
Happy Chinese New Year, Coach Tim.
So mag-react tayo sa mga sasabihin ni Coach Tim dito sa interview niya. Hindi ko pa din napapanood, so ngayon ko pa lang siya. So this week na po eh. This week na ang simula ng mga Gilas activities.
In my lifetime.
That's terrific. You know, I'm sure it'll be very, very exciting. There's a lot of things I want to get to, and of course, breaking up your being named as finally the permanent head coach of
Permanent
of
head
Gilas.
coach.
I mentioned it. There's no better man to be at the helm, and again, congratulations, Tim. I know this is a tough job. So let me begin.
Good evening, Alberto.
Given the fact that this is a long-term commitment, obviously, and you know the expectations of the whole country, and given, of course, your job as the head coach of Ginebra, how hard was this decision?
Well, you know, it's you know, it's almost like a sacred you know position. You know that I'm like holding it up. You know, the Gilas team has always been the national team, even from the the 90s when it was Sonny and then me and then Norman and all that time. It was always a special place to put yourself in. And yeah, there's a lot of pressure. I lived through Chuck's World Cup experience when they were booing him during introductions and stuff like that. And I know how tough it was on him. I know how tough it was on his wife and his family.
Yeah.
I lived through that with him, and it was heartbreaking at times. And so you see that, and it's kind of like you kind of putting your hand in the fire, so to speak. And but I just felt like if all the stars aligned, if we were able to do it the way that we thought would be the best way to do it, then it would be something worth doing because the honor is so immense.
Comment. So yun naman nga, iba naman kasi yung mag-react lang ako. Iba kasi yung mga pangyayari noong kay Coach Chot eh. Kasi marami naman doon sa galit kay Coach Chot noon, nung naalala ko nga, is yung way kung paano siya ibinalik doon sa national team eh. Kumbaga, ang maganda yung takbo noon kay Coach Baldwin, tapos biglang ipapalit ka agad si Coach Chot. Tapos, so yung pressure talaga niya sa kanya mabigat eh, on that part. So, hindi naman yan porket kunyari natatalo lang o ano, hindi naman ganun yung mga Pinoy na ibubuka talaga. It was yung mga circumstances noon, tapos kung paano sila nag-react, yung parang hindi nakikinig sa tao. So, it was all mga ganung halo-halong sitwasyon na noon. Tapos, nung natalo pa sa SEA Games, nung una, so tuloy natin
Challenge is so incredible.
You're welcome.
Just like I just want to say, just by like any other team, you're not going to win all the time. You're not going to win.
Basta wala na daw si Tom Brown.
That's kind of the way I'm going to approach this. So, we're going to try to get better, improve, and grow as we go along, and continue to build a team. And I've always felt that's my strength, is building a team,
Building a team.
and getting it better over time. And that's what I hope to do here. There'll be some ups and downs. I realize that there'll be some disappointments, but I think that with the passion that we have for basketball, there should be some successes along the way as well.
I'm pretty sure there will be, and knowing you, I know how much you focus and dedicate yourself to this. I want to ask you a little bit about, just your agreements with the SBP.
Ito.
Of course, how long is your term
How
as
long?
national coach, Tim?
Well, it's basically year by year. I've
Year
got
by
the
year.
first year, and if things go well, then we'll take a look at the second year. And if things go well, they still want me. I'll look at the third. But the idea from the very beginning was that we try to keep a continuity going from year 1 to year 4, which is the Qatar World Cup
Qatar World Cup.
in 2027.
Right.
So that's the ideal.
Okay.
Now, whether that a lot of things can happen in 4 years, and so we'll just take it. Put one foot in front of the other and take it. One. The old one day at a time thing, and one.
And confident
year at a time,
naman ako kaya ni
see
Coach Tim yan.
where it leads us.
I know you're a very thorough person, Tim. Were there any
Wag Tagalog na lang sila.
specific parameters that you requested, conditions, authorities, or even roles
A good question to,
that you requested, or at least autonomy in terms of the program? Is there something like that?
Well, I think that the whole process of it was, talking to various people and then finding out, how they saw the vision that they had and how they
Patrick
wanted to do
Jing,
things.
best commissioner daw.
And so,
Noli Iana.
when I interviewed
Erwin
with,
Alegre.
with the SBP, that was the number one thing. What's your vision? What do you want to do it? How do you want to do it? And can it be done? And so that was something that I presented, and they came along with it, and then we presented it to the stakeholders.
Right.
We had a meeting with the PBA, we had a meeting with the
Ito pala yung proseso.
NCAA, the UAAP representatives from there, and we presented the idea how we were going to do this, because I think we felt from the SPP as well that if we don't have the total involvement of the stakeholders, then there's really no chance for anything to get off the ground. And we've seen that over the years. The difficulty of keeping a team together, the difficulty of getting players. Oftentimes, the stakeholders say, we'll give them to you.
Wala
And we talk
wala
to
pong
players
pinag-uusapan na
separately, say,
budget.
"Don't do it." Things like that. And so, we really wanted to get everybody
Pwede na
on
daw,
the same
ibalik na lang ng
page.
commissioner ulit si Com
Really
Noli.
be transparent in how we want to do
Sabi ni
things.
Eduardo.
Put a schedule out really, really early so everybody can bend
Right.
their way around it, and that's really the goal of this particular program, is to be as efficient as we can.
Very clear naman yung
and
lahat ng
not
FIBA na
disrupt
mangyayari
the
from now up
stakeholders, so
to
that stakeholders will
Qatar.
continue to give us our time to prep and the players that we need to move forward.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, this is not the first time that you will be handling the national team as the head coach, and a guy that will prepare a team for both the short and long term. So let me ask you, back in '98, of course, you handled the Centennial team. How different or similar is this situation from 1998?
I think there's both. There's a lot of differences and a lot of similarities. The similarities are that we, and at that time we felt like we, balance-wise, we put the best team together. We had full support from the PBA to get, the players that we wanted. We did have a more of a tryout phase then, and we did, that was something that was new to us, and we wanted to try it out. So we got a pool of players. I think we got like 24 or 28 players in the beginning, and whittled it down, and it was a very long process of doing that. And coming from there and learning from that is the fact, and even from the World Cup, the more players you have, the more you have to teach And the more you have to figure out who is the best fits and everything, but that takes time.
Yung
And
pala
when
yung
that takes
logic doon,
time,
guys.
again, the stakeholders or the guys who are paying those players to be a part of what we're doing on a daily basis. They're wondering, what are you going to do about our league and our team, and that gets the difficulty.
Yun yung idea
arises.
kaya hindi na pool.
So this time we said, okay, let's just try to go with 12. And obviously there's going to be injuries, there's going to be age factor, there's going to be chemistry factors, even perhaps attitude factors or whatever, that are going to make force changes on the team.
Right.
But the idea was to go with 12 and
Saka nung
use
1998, si
minimal
Com Noli ang
disruption, right?
commissioner,
Everybody
kaya
knows
maganda
who
daw
they
yung
are,
resulta.
They know who they are. They're not trying out anymore. And that's where it goes from there. The differences are, in 98, I had like 3 months of preparation or 4 months of preparation. We went to the States, we did Jones Cup and everything. And again, the problem with that is the PBA had to play without their stars, and it was a difficult conference for them, and just not something they could do conference to conference to conference, miss their stars and not let them play or have them get injured while they're playing with the national team. So again, those things were factors in our minds coming into this one, things we learned from then.
Right.
And also watching some of the other programs around the world.
Yun din.
Is one of our primary examples. They kept the team together.
Right. Right.
Despite their league, they still kept the team together for years, and they dominated, the Asian circuit for 8-10 years.
Right.
With Haddadi and that group.
Yep.
So
pag isang team lang no?
We come in, we'll have less preparation time, but less disruption.
That's
but
right.
the preparation time will be cumulative. In other words, we'll
Cumulative.
use one window to prepare us for the second window and prepare us for the third window, and so on and so forth. So it's like playing the first conference. You use that conference to get a little better, and you.
So yun yung logic dito, guys, less preparation pero less disruption. Isang team. So every window gumagaling tayo. Yun yung idea ni Coach Tim.
Except to do it over 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
I've said this.
So yun yung logic niya,
many
yun yung
people,
plano niya.
Gilas program, since we started it back in 2008, has had so many iterations, so many versions. From the Raiko Toraman group, where there was a dedicated team of collegiate players without any pool, and then it became the first shot version where it was an all-pro team with no pool, semi-dedicated, Then it became the Tab Baldwin, where it was all collegiate, mainly collegiate, with a hybrid with a pool, and then of course the last one was Shot, where there were all-pro, again hybrid rather, but there was a big pool. Now yours is a dedicated team, a hybrid
Ito po yung
version, and again you're only keeping it at 12 players. So let me go to that, Tim. What did you consider when you put together the 12 names? What was the with this 12 team with these 12 names?
Oh, well, first of all, we wanted a group that was both veteran and young. We didn't want to have a full veteran group. We certainly didn't want a whole group of young players as well. I'm a big believer that...
Patrick Jane. Hindi naman po. Teka lang, sagutin ko mamaya yan, Sir Patrick.
One thing that I've held through my career is that you develop your team through young players. They get, young players will improve and get better. But if you want to win, and you want to win now, you have to have veterans. You win through veterans. So the idea with our team is that we have a veteran group and we have a younger group. The veterans will show the way. We hope for the younger group, and we hope to try to be as good as we can be right now, and still have growth with the younger players as well.
Totoo po yun, Sir Edward. Nakinig na sa mga fans.
Carl Tamayo, Kevin
Kiambao, mga bata. Pwede silang i-guide ng mga veterans.
23, 22 years old and below.
Kumbaga, pwede, the next 10 years, sila yung, di ba, main man ng Gilas eh.
Scotty Thompson and
Scotty, Abay.
And of course you have the veteran natural player in Justin Brownlee. So that was mix was very important for us. The other thing was to look at it positionally. I mean, you talk about want to bring in your 12 best players, but what if your 12 of your 12 best players, 8 of them are point guards? You can't have 8 point guards on your team. So you've got to have a balance.
Yeah,
And so we
sana may
look at it
pool na din yung
positionally,
team B ng
filling out
Gilas.
the
12
center
young and
position,
upcoming
filling out
players.
the 4, the 3, the
Opo.
2, the 1.
Para sa Southeast Asian Games, di ba? Sila na yung
We
doon.
wanted to have,
Pwede nga po yun. Tama,
I'm
Jonathan
a
Camby.
defensive first coach, so we wanted to have guys that were more defensive minded,
Defense first coach.
more of a two-way type of team. We wanted to have really good size, and we felt, with Junmar and Kai and
Junmar,
AJ
Kai,
Edu,
AJ,
we
tangkad.
fill out the size. 3 guys that are, around 6'11", 6'10", 7 feet.
Yep.
But we also wanted to have versatility. That was my big failing I felt in '98 is that we did build a big team
Yeah.
to play China because they had Wang Zhuzhu and Menk Batir, 2 7-footers on that team that were NBA guys and dominating Asia.
Yeah.
And we felt if we were going to get a gold, we had to be able to match up to them. So we brought the EJ File, Andy Siegel, Marlo Aquino to try to match up to those guys.
Right.
And we did. We did a great job of matching up. We almost beat China. We played them great. And but we got bushwhacked by Korea, who small, skilled team that beat us, and we didn't have that versatility in our lineup.
Right.
Well, I didn't see us as a versatile team. I only saw us as a big team. So hopefully, we have that versatility also. Even though we have size, we still have versatility. Where we can put out,
tanong ni
3 or 4,
Eduardo daw
6,
si
7,
Josh
6'5",
Reyes.
6'8" guys, and still be a quick up and down team if we need to be.
One of the players, of course, that checks all of those boxes that you mentioned, all of those characteristics, is Justin Brownlee, who is returning
Justin
to
Brownlee.
Gilas Pilipinas,
No kaya
and
reaction
returning to
ni Coach Tim.
basketball, Coach Tim. And a lot of people want to know how Justin is. What is his current condition, Tim? And of course, how has he mentally prepared himself after this period of hiatus?
Well, there was first of all, it was a great sacrifice for never not using him this conference.
I know.
we really wanted to use him this conference, and of course we couldn't. But there's always, as the door closes, always windows that open, and the window for us that opened up was that he was coming off his surgery of his foot.
It's na
I don't
pahinga.
think people realize how injured he was during the Asian Games and how much he had to battle through a lot of pain.
Right.
To get that gold medal and to do the things that he did. He basically was in China rehabbing literally, 18 hours a day doing rehab, waking up in the middle of the night, doing rehab, waking up at 2, then waking up again at 4:30 and doing rehab. And it was an amazing time for him. But, he battled through
Talagang bilib talaga siya. Nakakabilib talaga si...
rest and recuperate a little bit more than he would have. And so, that in a way was...
Korean coach daw para sa Team B. Bakit po Korean? Anong meron po sa Korean, Sir Patrick? Versatility, especially shooting and defense. Si Coach Tim, defense first talaga ang mindset.
He worked out every day while he was in the States.
Terrific.
Knowing that this was going to happen for him, it was going to come. He didn't just sit at home and feel bad about it. He kept in shape.
He kept in shape.
We feel real good about him. We feel like, he is such a
Blessing in
great
disguise din yung nangyari kay JB kasi nga napahinga. Totoo po. Kung may Hinebra, talagang maglalaro yan. Gusto niya eh. At least napilitan siyang magpahinga at makarecover para mas sumaba pa yung kanyang career.
A perfect representative for us, and that's what I appreciate him even more than the basketball stuff he does for us.
Well, we've seen all of that, of course, in the way he has handled himself, both before the suspension and during the suspension, and now coming back to the national team. Let me ask you about you picked about 4 guys that are playing in Japan.
Ito.
As you mentioned, Kai, Dwight, AJ, and of course, Carl Tamayo. What is the commitment of these players Tim, to
para
the
mahubog
national
na agad.
team.
Hindi, maganda po. Gagawa ng
How
isang
much can they
system for
play?
the whole
Are they
eh.
going to be
Ikukwento
available
ko yan
in
mamaya.
all of your tournaments?
That's a really good question. We actually thought hard and long on how many or how even if we would include the players from Japan because of the logistics of getting them in and getting them in on time and the difficulty of that would be. I don't want to say we limited the number of guys we wanted from the Japan because there were other guys that we really wanted to come in, but we felt logistically it would be better that
Kaya Korea.
that we went with the four, actually the three, because Carl Tamayo now is back in Manila, although we expect him to go back out again, probably to Japan or Korea. But at the moment he's back in Manila and living here. But there's a standard clause. I think I'm not sure everybody understands this, but there's a standard clause in the FIBA contracts around the world that that state that if there's a FIBA window or FIBA national tournament that goes on, the mother teams have to release by contract their FIBA players to the mother team, so to the national teams. So all those guys are free to come in for every window that we have. Now that does not include Asian games, and that does not include Southeast Asian games. And we'll have to rethink that a little bit and how we do that. They may not be available for that, and we may have to fill out their slots and add them to the core of the team that we already have for the Asian games and for the Southeast Asian games. But that's another story altogether.
Yeah.
But right now they are eligible to come in and they are eligible to hit our. It's another thing because if you want to prepare for 3 months or 2 months or a month even for to go into a window and get great preparation, the Japanese guys would not be available because they would be in Japan. They would not be.
Analytics uso sa NBA, sa Gilas o PBA, ginagamit ba ito? Efficient po ba yung planning sa Gilas program? I-check ko po, Patrick, kung anong level ng analytics meron.
Back in
Sila Coach Tim.
Actually, 1998, we had Monday practices as well. But obviously, we will not be able to do that because the Japan guys can't fly in on a Monday and practice and fly back out.
Right.
So that's no longer an option for us. So really, it's
Tune-up versus Lithuania.
Preparation window that we have.
Panoorin po natin
That's gonna be
kung
it. And we
Sa
have to make
19 may open
It'll be interesting how everything really gets mixed and how this new concept, this dedicated national team of guys that you put together can really play and practice together. I want to ask you a little bit about KQ, Kevin Kembao, and of course
Kevin
Kai
Kembao.
Soto. You've handled Kai before with the World Cup team, of course, and now Kevin Kembao is going under your tutelage. What do you
ganda yun.
think, having seen these two guys, and of course we know how big their potential is, and let's include Carl Tamayo there, and very quickly, the ceiling of these three players can be, Tim,
all
Carl,
three of them
Carl, KQ, and Kai.
Yeah, all three of them are difference makers. We had all three of them in the World Cup. Not in the World Cup team itself, not the final, but they were all in the pool. So I had a lot of access to Carl Tamayo. He was only there for maybe a couple of weeks, but we got to see him for a couple of weeks. And I remember sitting around with the coaching staff, and Coach Kirk Collier was there with us at the time, and Josh, and we were looking around, and we were talking about the different players, and one of the conversations, who would be the guy that could dominate the PBA? All these players, who could dominate the PBA? And we had 20 guys there at the time. And they all said, the outside of Junmar, it would be Carl Tamayo. If Carl Tamayo ever played in the PBA, he would be the most dominant player in the PBA.
Wow, malaki yun, ha?
That's quite a statement.
That is.
Quite a statement,
for coaches that really know. And I've always
Outside of
remembered
Junmar?
that conversation. Kevin came in and played with us for quite a while. Got to see a lot of Kevin, and in many respects, I thought he should have been in the final 12 because he was really that good, but he was just a little young. and I can understand why he wasn't included at that time. But skills-wise, he could have very easily made the final 12 and made an impact because he's that in-between guy that really we lack oftentimes in our lineups in the national team. That guy that's 6'6", 6'5", 6'7", that can play multiple positions. I mean, so
Nakaka-excite din
that's
mapanood si
amazing to
Kevin
be
sa
able
ano,
to have a guy at
sa
6'6", 6'7", and point guard
Gilas,
position.
itong
That's something
FIBA
we'll
week.
explore as we move forward. And then Kai,
O,
Kai is
20,
Kai.
oh yun eh.
You know,
Naka 26 points si Kayo nga. Good job Kaya sa laro
the PBA
kanina.
players, they're in the PBA and they focus on the PBA. The Japan players, they're in Japan and they focus on Japan. But Kai is a different animal. He's not, his focus is beyond our leagues. He's still very much involved in trying to get his way into the NBA. He has NBA agents and they're still looking for ways. People forget that Kai is only 21 years old. And so, we only had him in the World Cup for probably less than a week before the World Cup happened because of his back issues. So I didn't really get a chance to work with him that much, but I'm really good
Pero ay, si
chance
Kai,
to work with
nako.
him now.
Yeah.
Ang haba pa ng karera ni Kai.
This is the thing that's over time. We're not going to get these guys for, one conference and be able to try to improve them.
Right.
We're going to have a little bit of a time here and a little bit time here and a little bit time here. But
So si
hopefully
Kai daw,
it's cumulative
NBA pa rin
and
yung
we get,
focus.
a chance
Tama
to get
naman,
better.
yun din naman ang gusto
I
natin.
have a few more questions I want to ask you. First
Kaka-excite
thing is,
makita
what
yung
would be the
magiging
first
laro ng
metrics
bagong
for you,
lineup ng
Coach,
Gilas under
in terms of
CTC.
measuring the development and
Yun nga eh.
progress of this team?
KQ, excited ako makita
Specifically,
dun.
what do you think will indicate that they're doing okay?
Alam mo na idol sa ang team.
Well, for me, it's always been about all my teams, the teams that I've always coached. It's always about chemistry. It's about how guys play together. We're going to be a team that moves the ball a lot.
Moves the
probably
ball.
more than people want us to. Probably say we'll overpass or we don't play with enough pace or they'll be saying a lot of people will be
Yun
saying
nga
stuff
eh.
like that. But we're going to be a team that
Sana naman
moves
sa
the
next
ball a
conference
lot,
kaya
and
ganun ng
moves people.
PBA yung
We're
height
gonna move
limit.
the people and we're going to move the ball. And that's going to be our primary thing. And to do that, you have to have great chemistry.
Right.
So if we are moving the ball and different people are scoring and everybody's involved, that usually creates a good chemistry. And if that's the case, then we've got somewhere that we're going to. In the meantime, we want guys to be really dedicated on the defensive side. Defense is not something that's really around the world, even in the, obviously in the NBA, and it's not something that's taken as seriously as it was in the past.
Yeah.
And I think that can be a difference maker for our team. I think we can go out and shock some teams out there with our ability to play defense. And so if we're defending and we are
Nakaka-excite.
sharing the ball,
Kayang-kaya natin
then
to.
those are indicators that we are growing and we'll get better.
While you said that it may be a year-to-year thing for you, but obviously this 4-year window with the next World Cup being the target, is that the ultimate goal for you in this journey? What would be that if you had like one or
No,
two?
I think the ultimate goal for the SBP is to make the LA Olympics.
Iyon.
I think that's the ultimate
Goal.
That's what they're really looking for.
Olympics
We still have a chance
2028.
for the Paris Olympics.
Or the Paris. Kung kayahin sa Paris, very good.
July. The games are actually in July, but we'll leave in late June. And, we have an opportunity to qualify there. It's going to be a tough road with Latvia playing at home and Georgia, a top 20 team. And then on the other side, Brazil, Montenegro, all top 15 teams. We have to get through all those teams and, to have a chance at the Paris Olympics. But, it's
Malay natin, di ba?
difficult, but not impossible.
Magkamilagro.
We're not
Sa
going to go out
Latvia.
there with the idea that we're just going to show up and try to look good. We're going to go out there and try to win. And that's always going to be our philosophy. That'll always be our goal. It won't be our focus, but it will be our goal. Our focus is just to get the day-to-day, the process of getting better every day. But the goals are to win. And
Very
but
clear.
ultimately, in the 4th year, we want to be playing in the Qatar World Cup. We have to qualify first.
Yep.
but we're going to be playing in the Qatar World Cup, and we want to be finishing first in Asia and get a berth in the LA Olympics. I think that's been clear to me. That's the goal
Yun.
of the
Yung
This is gonna be an
sa World
exciting
Cup,
next
doon
few
pa lang
years.
makakuha na tayo ng...
Gilas,
Ang
Pilipinas,
hirap
of course,
kasing ano
for you,
eh.
you know, I know
Yung
you're-
Olympic qualifiers, ang
you're
hirap eh.
kind of,
Dapat maging first in Asia tayo. Yung
working
dapat
to do, and
Pilipinas,
of course, the
best
dedication.
in
That's why,
Asia.
personally, for me, it's so exciting, and I know for many, many more Filipinos, the millions of Filipinos that follow basketball. Before I let you go, Tim, you know, this is your second tour of duty as permanent head coach of a national team. What would your younger self in 1998 tell your older self in 2024 as you embark on this journey?
Wow, a lot, you know. But you know, it's just that there was so much I didn't know back in '98, and so I wish I could be the one now telling like '98 what I could have been done, because I think we could have won a gold if I knew what we were doing back then. We really came up short with a bronze. We really felt we had a chance to win the gold there, and that's why it was so devastating to not win the gold and only come home with the bronze, because we really felt we had a shot. We had a team that could do that, and we came up short. But I think that, you know, now that I'm older, I think I know how to handle pressure a little bit better. I think I know how to relieve pressure
Ganda.
from my, you know, from the players a lot better than I did in the past. You know, where we can focus on the game and not focus on not losing or not, you know. And I think one of the problems is that we always, Gilas, we're so concerned about letting everybody down that we play beyond ourselves and not within ourselves, and that causes us some problems. And I think that we can learn from that as well. So there's still a lot, and I think that also the program itself just has to be very transparent. It has to be. We have to keep everybody informed of what we're doing and what our vision
Yun.
is.
So mas transparent
We
tayo
wanna keep
dapat.
the fans involved. We're actually having I'll announce it now. We're
Ito
having
na.
a send-off practice on the 19th.
19.
We leave for Hong Kong on the 20th. We have a
Kita-kita
send-off
tayo.
practice on the 19th in the Phil Sports Arena that we're going to
Phil
open to the
Sports.
public
Nice.
Open.
at 6 o'clock on
6 o'clock
at
sa
Phil
19
Sports.
ha.
And,
Kita-kita tayo.
that's kind of we just want to, you know, be involved with the fans. We want the countrymen to see who we are and to want to be a part of things. And I hope that's a precursor to the fact that we sell out Phil Sports on the 25th when we play Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Yep. I'm sure.
I think this team is going to bring a lot of excitement. I hope the countrymen all get on board.
I'm sure that we will all be behind you. I'm sure that the Phil Sports
Yun
Arena
ha.
will be
Kita tayo sa
packed,
19 ha.
just to see
The
this
glory
new
days of
version,
Gilas
and of
is
course,
promising,
we'll
and hopefully
be
we
there
can
with
reach
you on your journey
World
in the
Cup
next
and
1, 2,
Olympics.
3, or 4 years. Coach Tim, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I wish you all the best, partner, and I'm sure we won't be playing golf anytime soon, but
So yun ang ano guys ha, yun ang parang gusto ko lang din sabihin na kung bakit si Coach Tim Cone yung ngayon, parang kumbaga he is in his prime. We are seeing now prime Tim Cone, 'di ba? He has improved so much more from 1998. Noong 1998 pa lang magaling na siya eh. Pero imagine nyo 25 years of experience, of learning, and ano. So, prime na si Coach Tim Cone ngayon. Kumbaga, he is more than ready, he is calm. Kumbaga, nakita na niya lahat. And sayang naman kung hindi natin magagamit sa national team yung husay, yung galing, yung talino ni Coach Tim Cone para makita natin kung ano yung pinaka-potential na meron po yung ating mga players. Yun naman yun. At the end of the day, syempre, yung mga players natin, may mga potential yan hanggang saan yung kaya na lang i-push. Diba? So, yun po ang makikita natin with the Coach Tim Cone in his prime na, kumbaga, yung lahat ng Grand Slam na history niya and lahat ng natutunan niya, isama mo na yung sa Asian Games. So, lahat po nakatutok ngayon sa Gilas. At ang sinabi nga niya, parating nagiging problema yung pong pagbalanse sa mga organization, sa PBA, UAP. So, might as well, iksian yung preparation, pero iksian yung disruption. Diba? O, hindi na yung pool, pipili. Hindi, ito 12 lang yung tututukan. Yung 12 yun yung focus natin at matagal sila magkakasama hanggang Olympics and beyond, yung mga bata, 'di ba? So yun po nakakatuwa, talagang nakaka-excite yung pong mga sinabi ni Coach Tim doon. And more or less yun po, nagka-idea po tayo. Ano ba yung direksyon ng Gilas? Ano ba yung direksyon ng team? At alam mong pag si Coach Tim Cone, pag sinabi niya, alam mong seryoso siya, alam mong he knows what he's saying, he knows what he's doing, and hopefully we could catch a few lucky breaks along the way. Pero confident talaga ako na kumbaga ma-maximize niya yung pong potential ng mga players na to pagdating sa mga plays, pagdating sa depensa, pagdating sa... So, ayun. Sagot tayo ng mga tanong nyo. Wala po si Edu at Junmar due to injury problem. Sana may kapalitan si Kai sa position like other bigs. Si Junmar po nakalaro naman kanina. Kanina medyo ng konti pero ayun, nandun naman kanina. So I'm not sure lang din kung ano. Wala pa bang balita, boss, kung sino part ng coaching staff? Wala pa po. Bukas magtanong ako Bukas may kukwento ako sa inyo bukas. Magla-live ako bukas. Abangan nyo yung live ko bukas. Medyo may maganda din akong ibabalita. Jordan Heading, wala na pong pag-asa sa Gilas roster. Sayang naman, legit shooter. Hindi nakasama si Jordan Heading. Pero bata pa naman si Jordan. I'm sure i-consider yan sa mga susunod po na mga line-up. Yan. Kahit almost upset ng kalaban sa OQT, masaya na ako pero we never know bilog ang bola, sabi ni Ralph Ventura. Yun nga, sabi naman ni Coach Tim, our goal is always to win. Yun naman. Sa learning experience, di natatapos ang learning. Naku po, hanggang natapos ang World Cup, learning pa din, sabi ni Edward Llamas. Ayan. Excited for the OQT kahit mahirap basta maganda ang execution and plays kagaya ng OQ2 2021 versus Serbia. Maganda rin na idea na kunin bilang practice player si Kuya Andre. Pero daw baka daw mahal ang bayad as practice player. Yan. Syempre naturalize yan. Iba syempre yung niyan. Nung napansin ko kay Coach Chot, Tom Brown yung tawag niya. Nung World Cup, halos lahat nakatunganga, hinihintay lang si Clarkson na tumira. Yan. Yun. Kay Dwight Howard, tama naman siya. Panahon na sa PBA na tanggalin na yung height limit dun. At least isang conference para masubukan. Yan. Tingin mo, sir, meron pagka-egoistic personality si Coach Shot o tingin mo he just had a bad reaction sa critics niya? Mahirap po kasi mag-judge siya personality ng tao kasi hindi ko siya personal na kilala. Pero definitely, yung pong kanyang reaction dun sa mga hindi din okay Kesa makinig dun sa fans, parang mas, di ba, kabaliktaran yung ginawa. So anyway, tapos na po yun. Ayan, naka 26 points si Kai, kaso injured ata. Ayan. So, si Kai po, malayo pa talaga yung future. Confident si Coach Tim Cone din na So, ayan. Open practice sa Lunes, sa Phil Sports. Sa Lunes ba? Sa 19. Ba't Lunes ako ng Lunes? Sa Lunes next week. Tama ba? 14, 15, 16, 17. Lunes next week hindi bukas. Lunes next week. Open practice ang Gilas. Nood po tayo kasi exciting po yan. Yeah, masaya po yan. Ayan. Yung sa sponsor ng Gilas, wala naman pong problema na kung SMB o Smart, nagtutulungan naman yung dalawa para sa Gilas. Tingnan nyo nga dito, 4 na players galing San Miguel, di ba? So, wala naman problema kay Boss RSA. Sponsorship problem. Hindi ko po nakikita kung bakit siya problem, Sir Patrick. Paanong problem po ba ang ibig sabihin nyo? Hindi naman issue sa San Miguel na Smart yung... kasi si Smart naman talaga gumagastos. Yung bulk naman ng gastos sa Gilas ever since, sila Boss MVP ang gumagastos. So, wala namang problema dun si Boss RSA. Siguro sa mga players lang, pero kung ito, 4 lang naman yung players na hiramin, tapos, tsaka malaking fact, yun yung pumapasok yung sinabi ni Coach Tim Cone. Nagiging issue kasi, kapag ang tagal mong hinihiram yung players, doon kasi yung nagiging issue. Kahit pang sponsorship yan, nagiging issue kapag 2 buwan mo hihiramin, 3 buwan mong hihiramin. O paano naman yung team namin, kami nagpapasahod dyan. paano naman kami magcha-champion, 'di ba? So, kung maiksi lang pero konting disruption, tapos long term silang magkakasama, hindi mo na kailangan ng sobrang habang practice time. Hindi maaapektuhan masyado yung pong mga practice ng San Miguel, hindi masyadong magre-react yung mga owners ng mga teams. 'Di ba? So sa akin yun po yung nasusolusyonan nung style ni Coach Tim eh. Kasi kung iisipin mo, kung tutuusin, ganun din naman yung mga ibang bansa eh. Yung mga players nila kung nasaan-saan, so kung saan-saan pumupunta. 'Di ba? Merong players sa NBA, may players sa Europe, may players sa nagkakanya-kanya din yung mga players, bumabalik lang tuwing may FIBA. 'Di ba? So sa akin, yun na talaga yung best step moving forward talaga. Pero yun nga, sana ang next na ma-develop na is yung Team B, kung paano yung next Team B na ano. At saka yung tanong nyo pala na na para same system sa under 17, under 15, I think the best talaga is gumawa na ng isang parang system na o philosophy na yun na yung gagamitin talaga ng buong Gilas. Yung buong Gilas na yan kumbaga yung defense first na mentality, o tapos yung kung paano maging how to be a good teammate, how to be kumbaga yung sa mga plays, yung sa mga maganda magkaroon na ng isang buong sistema na yun na yung gagamitin mula pagkabata hanggang sa mag-pro, na kumbaga yun na yung naiaano sa kanila bata pa lang, para pagpasok nila dito sa men's national team, kumbaga matagal na nilang napapasok sa kanila. So I think yun ang magandang ma-develop ng SBP talaga. Yung isang one whole system na patulungin mo syempre gumawa sila Coach Tim, lahat ng mga dyan, si Coach Norman Black, lahat ng mga magagaling dyan ng mga coaches, sila na bumuo ng handbook ba o isang sistema na yun talaga yung gagamitin from under 15, under 17, na yun yung ganito dapat yung isang player, ganito dapat yung practice, ganito dapat yung, di ba, paano dapat yung natin. So, sa akin, yun ang magandang ma-develop nga ng SBP moving forward. Kaya, yun po yung balita. This week na yung unang practice. So, magpa-practice na this week. So, nakaka-excite. Tapos, sa Monday, open practice. Kita-kita tayo sa PhilSports. Tapos, sa Hong Kong na sila. Tapos sa 25, doon na po yung laro nila. Sunday po yan sa PhilSports. Paubos na po yung ticket, kaya kita-kita po tayo doon. Yan. Yung culture, ayun, Kim, yun yung tamang word. Bumuo na ng Philippine basketball culture. Parang sa European, parang di ba? Tingnan nyo yung European, iba yung laro doon sa mga Amerikano. 'Di ba? Iba yung laro nila. More on unselfish plays, more on team. So ganun yung culture ang magandang mabuo at ma-develop na ipapasa na lang at yung mga coaches ganun mo din ite-train para po masanay po yung mga coaches natin sa pag-train po sa mga next generation ng Gilas. Ayan, culture. Hindi po, Sir Syke, ang ibig sabihin sa culture is yung yung magiging unselfish, yung pagiging team player, yung pagiging so marami pong aspeto po 'yun yung pagdating sa culture, pagdating sa attitude ng player, pagdating sa maraming mga aspeto po 'yun, and i-explore po 'yun, i-update ko kayo kasi may narinig din akong ganun i-explore po 'yan ng SBP, update ko kayo kaagad. The keyword mark is consistency and perfect chemistry sa training ng Gilas. Totoo po 'yun. Maganda, basketball culture, focus sa 3-point shooting, tsaka depensa, 3 and D. Tama po, Kim. Yun. At tsaka yung di ba yung idea ng positionless na basketball, di ba? Na yung player, yung pagiging versatile ng mga player, maganda, tinuturo na habang bata pa. Kasi yung mga moves, pag tinuturo mo, pag bata mo itinuro, di ba? Kumbaga mas na-master nila Hindi yung bata, mali yung tinuturo sa bata, pagtanda nila, ang hirap baguhin ng nakasanayan nila. May mga ganun, may mga ganung mga galaw, may mga ganung mga ugali, may mga ganung mga moves na maganda bata pa lang matraining na kaagad. Yan, paano yung tamang defense, paano yung tamang, so yung mga ganun po. Francis Marasigan, Kwame need to be local. Paano naman po mga Pinoy sa Hong Kong? Paano daw sila makapanood ng live? Maraming Pinoy na nag-request. Ay, oo nga no. Sige po, alamin ko. Sige po, ibalita ko para sa mga taga Hong Kong kung saan manonood. Posible ba maging local player yung anak ni Brownlee? Alamin ko din po kung paanong rules nun. Kasi may sinasabi, pag matagal naglalaro sa isang lugar, kahit walang dugong Pinoy, pwedeng maging local. So hindi ko sure eh. Parang kasi si FIBA parang minsan pa iba-iba eh. Walang eksakto na rule eh. Depende sa kung ano yung gusto ng mga nag-a-approve eh. Ronnie Vlog, shoutout from Bislig City. Payakap mga idol ng YouTube ko po. Yan. Shoutout Winber Bigtas. Talking Toshi, may stretch for na tayo at mga 5 positions na may tira na sa labas. Sabi ni Talking Toshi. Kanina po, balita ko lang, si Scotty Thompson ay nagbukas ng kanyang gym sa Pampanga. So, shoutout po kay Scotty Thompson. Nandun kanina sila Kong TV eh. Sabi niya nandun din dapat si KQ tsaka si, hindi ko napansin eh, kung naglaro sila KQ tsaka si Carl Tamayo. Pero nag-opening po yung kanyang gym, yung kanyang court sa Pampanga. So shoutout po kay Scotty, napakahusay niyan pagdating sa pera, 'di ba? Yung kanyang kinikita, pinagtatayo niya ng negosyo. And I'm excited to see Scotty dito sa Gilas. Kita-kita tayo guys. So meron pa kayong tanong? So yun naman na tayo guys, ha? Thank you very much po. Bukas meron akong ikukwento maganda bukas. Kung ano yung magiging natin, direksyon natin bukas. Pag nagtaloy ka sa Jeddah, maraming Pinoy nag-aabang sa FIBA Asia Cup next year dyan sa Jeddah. Kita-kita po tayo dyan. Mag-iipon na ako ngayon pa lang. Okay, ng aking ticket papunta dyan sa Jeddah. Definitely dyan. So, thank you very much guys. Bukas abangan nyo. Magla-live ako bukas mga hapon o ganitong oras. May ako, okay? So, thank you very much po. Ayan. Salamat guys. O, Gilas yung bukas. Gilas, meron akong mga ikukwento bukas. Kasi bukas medyo maliwanag na sa akin eh. Kung ano yung mga mangyayari. So thank you very much guys. See you po sa next vlog po natin. Bye-bye.